Let go. We out here.
So we got a prop?
We got a prop now.
Well,
yes.
And I love it because it's red, so you're naturally going to assume it's a MAGA hat.
Yeah, people are going to judge me just because the hat's red.
Exactly. As soon as they see the red, they're going to think you're a MAGA, and then they read it actually, and they're like,
really?
So then they're gonna label you as an anarchist or anarchist. You know, you just want anarchy. You don't want to pick a side. So you're giving me two choices, and in these two choices, both of them are corrupt.
Right.
Both of them say sketchy things or agree to things. And just recently, they just passed a bill for $1.2 trillion.
Yeah.
We agree that things are messed up. There's more of us than there is of them.
So creating chaos amongst people is what they use to control people.
Manipulation, of course.
Here's the full circle moment.
Okay.
Back in the day, 1800s, could we say that's what religion was when they had the priest on the boats and going over to conquer these other lands?
Absolutely, all on behalf of religion. It was. They used religion to benefit why they're doing it. We're doing this because we want to share Christianity to them. Okay, but why are we slaying people?
It's because a lot of people are just so avoidant. Like, instead of addressing the issue, they want to do this blanket thing. And the thing is, I run into this issue at my job.
Well, we overcorrect.
Yeah.
They overcorrect things. Like, let's overcorrect something to make it better. What?
Why?
When we have no parameters set, when we have no boundaries, it's chaos because everything's gray. Well, that's not. Well, tell me why that's wrong. Okay, we all know this is wrong. But is it really? They're just exercising their freedoms, right?
Right, and it's so weird, especially when it comes to race. It's like people who are like, I don't see color, and I'm like, I think that's the most disrespectful thing because we're in a society where we focus on being all inclusive and we're all the same, but we're not. Like, instead of saying that we're the same, we need to learn about what makes us different, culturally different. Like. It's been a very long time. Yes, we haven't been behind the camera in what's been probably about a year.
Yep.
It's been a while. What you been up to, man?
Business adventures.
Okay. What you got going on?
Just getting into trucking and everything like that.
Okay.
So, and then from there, moving on to other aspects. But it's been just like same thing with you. Probably been just kind of working on yourself.
Yeah.
Take a step away from social media, revamping everything, taking a look at our lives because we should always be in a perpetual process. So. Essentially, that's what I did, man. I kind of walked away from everything. I haven't posted on social media in the last 7 to 9 months.
Wow.
Not really. I poked my head out to see what's going on. I don't follow just like you. I don't follow mainstream media. Mm-hmm. So every now and then you've got certain people you take a look at, certain things that work, and you're like, all right, so that's what's going on, cool, and then you retreat.
Okay, yeah.
So what about you, bro?
Man, I went through probably a year and a half of shadow work.
Okay.
Which has been an experience because it's one of those things where you don't know you're doing it and you think you're done until you realize you're doing it and you see some things that you don't like to see. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to will things about myself, like my ego, to my advantage, and it's been an amazing journey. Other than that, I've kind of slowed down on the whole like photography and video aspect of things. Yeah. Started a business, so finally launched Outlier Attire. Yeah. Link will be down in the description below. Matter of fact. Mother Ducker shirts, we out here.
There we go.
But yeah, that's been pretty successful. And, just trying to build better connections with people because I'm always one to be more detached.
Yes.
Living a detached lifestyle like we've talked about in previous videos.
Same thing with me.
It's great, but I think it also takes away from that skill of being able to build with people, build those connections.
Yeah, it can be limiting. It's the thing about either people want to be all in to social media, be out there, treat it like it's a public forum, especially as you shift, especially since you're going into business and as you've been doing.
Right.
You do have to be more outspoken. You do have to be more public, but at the same time, you can't let everybody know about everything. You can't let them know the next moves. You got to be mindful and have that type of discernment.
But people are out there putting their business out there, and I'll be there reading it.
I mean, it's entertaining, but at the same time, it gets to a point to where it's a sickness, man. It's a mental health thing. These people look whether it's good or bad. Whether people fake the funk with fake relationships, fake religion, fake whatever. People fake the funk all the time.
It's validation.
Well,
people want to find.
It's addictive. I get it.
It's narcissism. One, I've noticed a lot more narcissists on social media.
Absolutely.
But it's also validation. People want validation from the world. And that's one of the things I've learned because I wasn't always one for being vulnerable, but looking for validation. But I'm learning that when you have that one person who you're able to get that validation from, you don't need the world in that aspect. So I think a lot of people are just kind of coping in that regard. They don't have that support system to be able to tell them that they're doing good or whatever they need to validate their emotions.
So would you say that, shouldn't you think you should have a good group of people then that can kind of, outside of an echo chamber? Obviously you don't want yes men. And a lot of people do want yes men.
Well, that's the thing. People don't know the difference between a support group and an echo chamber. Because what happens is their support group becomes an echo chamber, and next thing you know, you have politics.
Yeah. Well, then hierarchy comes into play, and I mean, same thing with cults and everything like that.
Yeah, well,
it's the things start forming like that. So we're on a group think.
Yeah.
And we've all agreed these are the good things about the group we like. If you want to go up in the group, in the hierarchy,
right.
This is what it takes to go up in the hierarchy. This is somebody who's up this high in our hierarchy, so we're going to emulate what they're doing. If somebody wants to come into the group,
right.
What does it take for them to come into the group?
Right.
And then when someone has civil discourse, like we're supposed to have, good debates,
right.
legitimate debates, then when you get in that echo chamber and their viewpoints, they're making valid points,
right?
And everyone in the group saying, whoa, this ain't right, we're going to fight back and go against that person. It's like, all right, now it's not a group think anymore.
Right.
It's an echo chamber because now we're not opening up to actual debates and actual different
I look at
point of views.
The differences being something similar to, I break it down in a more simple fact that I feel like a support group holds people accountable in that group, whereas an echo chamber does not. So, an example, I know everybody's been paying attention to everybody who's getting thrown in jail because of allegations from past TV shows and entertainment industry. I was on X, which, I wasn't on X. I read a thing from X. I don't have an X account.
Neither do I.
Diddy, obviously, diddling.
Diddy diddling.
Diddy or didn't he? No.
Oh, man. There it is.
No.
Coming soon. Merch coming soon. Diddy or Diddy?
But it's funny because I was reading the post, and let me see if I can find it.
It seems like the majority of people want to say, demonize this man. This man's a monster. Everyone is, and he hasn't even been accused. He's been accused, but there's no solid, nothing that evidence to be provided other than, he's just being accused right now. These are accusations. Nothing concrete's come down the pipeline, but everyone seemed to made up their mind because of the court of public opinion that he's guilty.
Oh, he did that shit. He did that shit.
And I'm seeing more stuff as it comes out. The sound bites and all this other stuff, and all these people are coming forward.
There is no doubt.
But the problem to me is, he's been in the business for 30 years, right?
Right.
So he didn't just wake up as a monster. There's always been murmurs about this man. There's always been alleged things going on. Why were y'all still partying with him? Why were y'all still hanging out with him?
Clout. The people want the clout. But the thing about it is,
how are you gonna demonize this man when you were popping champagne bottles, taking pictures with him, you buddy with this monster? But then as soon as he's getting caught with his pants down or whatever you want to call it, excuse me, that's really what it is. Now you want to, straight up walk away from him. You want to sort? No, I don't know him, bro. You got pictures with him. You go to his parties. Well, I didn't do none of the things at the party. You still were there, regardless. Right. We can't confirm whether you did anything because we heard about these Diddy parties, how wild it gets. We can't confirm nor deny that you were, that you did anything.
It's kind of like Epstein. But
Pretty
the thing
much.
about it is, still, I can't.
It's guilty by association.
I can't find the post, but the post on X was talking about how it's funny how everybody's going after all these black entertainers and such. I'm like, oh god, here we go. That's when I stopped because it's like
blackety blacks.
They turn everything. We were turning everything into some sort of
Why
race
is it gotta
thing.
be race?
I'm like, did you forget about Dan Snyder, who's gonna be? He's next.
They're gonna get him. It's exposed too much, and it starts with him.
Yeah.
And it started with Nickelodeon. Disney is gonna be a little tougher because Disney's really tight-lipped about things, but Disney's going to be coming up to the front of the congregation. ABC, which is owned by Disney, all these kids that did stuff back in the day, they're just too scared to come forward.
Right.
Now that this is coming out there and people are believing them, because you got to think, Corey Feldman been saying this for years. How terrible entertainment is,
Orlando
but everybody,
Brown,
and everybody said, no, you're just exaggerating. No.
Hell, Amanda Bynes came out years ago and was saying stuff, and no one took her seriously.
No, because they see these people spiraling out of control. They see them falling apart. Okay, did you ever think about the traumas they're going through, or even we're not going to leap off the conspiracy thing about the MK Ultra or whatever, but see that these people were put up, and then when they were done, cast to the side.
Right.
Got the use out of them, and they were done.
It's wild to think about, mainly because, I know we've had this conversation before. When we're kids, we don't think about this kind of things. Our minds are we're so pure. We're innocent.
We think it's a joke.
But now, when you look at things, you're like, oh my god,
we didn't see none of this. But that's also, we grew up in a different time period.
Yeah.
Take the range we were in, the 8 to 12 range compared to kids 8 to 12. They are way more aware of what's going on due to technology than we were. We were the last generation of innocence.
Yeah, we didn't have social media as kids.
We didn't. We played outside with sticks and sword fall. We pretended to be Dragon Ball Z, Naruto run around. We did all that stuff. That's how we live. Kids like that don't do that anymore. They have technology. They have everything at their fingertips, giving them all the answers. But that's also, we're the most connected but yet disconnected people.
It's just crazy, and it's sad to think about, and you got to look at it like in any level of elitism. There's always going to be things that are in the dark.
Of course.
There's always going to be things that are in the dark, whether it's crimes with children, crimes with women, hell, the diddler with men.
Yeah. So people always, as long as there's a hierarchy, as long as there's people who gatekeep, as long as there's people who don't permit people to get access without allegedly putting time in or allegedly doing certain things to get to where they got to go, they leverage it because they have authority. They have the utility to get you there. Right. But the problem still sits when it comes to the children. The parents permit the things to happen. Yeah. We watched certain parents were on that cast, and they refused to leave them kids by themselves. They refused. But what happened? Sadly, what happened with Drake Bell? Father was pushed away because he was fighting. He said, no, I'm not getting a good vibe from this man. And he knew that his father was saying it. So let me turn the boy against him. Spoiler alert. Turn the boy against him. Leveraged the mom, because the mom seems to be more carefree and trusting of me. Let me use her. And boom. And that's what they did. So even when you have the best, somebody that's there for you, they were still pushed aside.
For the best, for the interest of their agenda.
And the business, because your father's being guilty, you're being selfish. He's the one keeping you from doing this. And then as a kid, you're thinking, well, I've got this, my dream. Yeah. I'm taking care of my family. My dad's just being overbearing. He's right. I'm turning 12, 13 now. I should be able to have a little more free reign. My mom's more understanding. Yeah, dad just walk away. And he did. I'm sure, which we all saw, was not easy. Right. And I'm sure even today, he's beating himself up about it. Because he thought nothing happened to him. He thought that they caught it before anything happened. But once he found out later on, obviously, due to this, that terrible things happened, eating him up alive.
But even this, it's just entertainment industry in general. Because even you can even go as far as like the pageant moms and the things that they do there.
And that's something I'm surprised that they haven't actually taken a more of an in-depth look at. Because that's still something going on today. How crazy these women are. I mean, the pageant, cheerleading. You could even sometimes take it sporting parents. It's perfectly healthy. Having competition, pushing stuff. Right. But these parents
some parents take it way too seriously.
Like the wrestling kid, the dad that came over and punched the kid. Yeah. So we got to see. There's horrible dark, but there's also this other thing where people are ultra competitive and they're trying to live, vicariously through their kids, perhaps, or they're pushing their kids so hard, and then it's like, are you sure the kid even wants to do this, or are they doing it just to please you? Right.
It's a dangerous world we live in, and it's I know that's like a cop-out answer because obviously you think it's dangerous, but also think like 4 to 5 times worse than that even still.
Absolutely.
And that's not to drive like the anxiety up in a lot of people. It's no. It's just kind of how it is, which is unfortunate, and it doesn't have to be that way. There's just a lot of things in the world that kind of makes you just see red and just want to rage out, and it's sad to see.
Yeah, because it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. With everything going on with this distraction or everything, the barge, politics, wars. There's so many different things pulling us in so many different ways. You can't pay attention to everything.
So, to change the subject. Yeah. So, I heard you got back into like the religious sector because I know earlier in our videos we were kind of on the fence, kind of just not pledging our allegiance to any kind of religious thing.
More stoicism and everything else. I still want, that's still big. To me, that's a big part of religion a little bit, especially when it comes to Christianity. Stoicism is kind of key parts, components of it.
Well, I mean, it's part of the Roman Catholic,
Yeah, so for me, that's still part of it. But for me, it's just understanding and being more understanding of how, the Bible and everything, diving a little deeper into it. I'm still new in the faith, still new in walking. I took a look at Islamic, took a look at other Judaisms, and I've been looking, but so far Christianity has been something that's kind of resonated. And then you got to remember, I don't know how you were raised, but younger, we were pushed so hard into it.
Yeah.
And when you're pushed so hard into something, When you get an opportunity to walk away, you do.
You're going to do it.
And I walked away. I went to the secular. I went into the world, and I explored the world. I did that, And even though I knew a lot of things I was doing was implicitly wrong, once, especially the last year or so, once I started making it more explicit, it starts to take a toll on you.
Right.
Because you know you're being immoral. You know you're not doing the best things. And you know that eventually judgment comes to us all, whether it's of this world or the next. We know inherently that we should be better.
Right.
We know we could be better.
Right.
But to cop out with saying trauma is the reason why I'm not succeeding, or because I'm black, I'm not succeeding, or due to the political party that's in control, I'm not. You come up with everybody else's points,
excuse,
but yourself to take accountability. So that, to me, that was part of it, was taking accountability and responsibility for who I had become.
Yeah.
And understanding that who I needed to be, I need to let go of things.
Okay.
I had to sacrifice and let go of some things. So I haven't done secular music. I haven't listened to anything like rap or anything like that in the last 7 months.
Okay.
Especially if you believe in frequency and vibrations and everything. That's stuff very low frequency. So just why we feel certain things. So why certain music makes you feel happy.
Right.
It's all real. There's a reason. There's alpha tones and frequencies too. That there's such a deep thing. There's so much. This is more into your field, but as I explore music and how it's all designed, cut, and I'm like, I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's wild.
How all this, and people like Exxon and everything, Sean was big into that. I was like, bro, I didn't realize this is deep. It's not just make a beat, like Fruity Loops back in the day. Just starting with something. It's deep. There's so much that goes into it. I'm like, wow. And as you do more research on it, things, you get better understanding of why things are. Why do I feel more aggressive when I listen to this? Okay, yeah, the music says, calling these women hoes and bitches and all that, excuse the language.
Yeah.
Or F them, or, I'm a gangster this. Okay, I don't live any of that, nor did you.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm listening to it and singing along to it. What is that?
That's why I listen to stuff with no lyrics.
That's what happened. I've completely let go of lyrics, and it's just, I still love dubstep. I still listen to house and different electric music. That's still a part of me. I love that. Witch Haven. I love all kinds of darker undertone music, all that stuff. I love that. Classical music. It's always been, it connects to me. So I think just taking time to really question things. So why is this the way it is? Mm-hmm. That's the biggest question. And even with the faith I'm starting to go into now, I still question things.
Yeah.
I still ask questions. I ask people who are more knowledgeable. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's finding people who are knowledgeable and who don't mind the questions. Because you've had an experience just recently.
Oh yeah, I'm the opposite. Yeah.
When somebody is within that group, that when you ask different opposing questions, the emotions still get the best of them.
Right.
So it's not just a left-leaning thing, liberal thing. It's not just a MAGA, extremists or whatever. Right. There's people within these groups still that don't like civil discourse or can't handle when people ask questions.
So that's the main reason why I still haven't pledged any kind of allegiance to any kind of religion. It's mainly because there's still a lot of questions,
of course,
that I have, and there's nothing that says in my head that one religion is better than another. And that's mainly because people are going to believe different things. People grow up in different parts of the world. People are not going to be exposed to, example, say Christianity, but under the grasp of Christianity, you're a sinner if you don't believe in Christianity, even though you don't know anything about it. So one of the things that I had talked about with that girl recently was that if a baby's born into the world, mm-hmm. and the baby dies suddenly, never been to a Bible study, never anything, is that baby going to heaven or hell? Because they don't know anything of Christianity. They were born in this world, a sinner? That's what you're saying?
But with the children, it's different because the sins of the children, if you're going biblical, the sins of the children are on the parents until the age of 12. And it's an innocent child. If it's like you're saying, in this scenario, the kid's just born, the kids till
the age of 12? I've seen some demons at 11.
You're absolutely right. But that's what it biblically it says, until the age of 12, then the sins are on the child. The child's old enough now to know the difference between right and wrong. So, or should have been educated on what's in society. Yeah. Should have taught this kid, all right, this is what goes on in society today.
And back then, that was their age of consent, too.
Yeah, so, and it was different times, because you get clapped at 20. You were lucky if you lived up to be 20 at that time. 22, you're considered old. But, no, the kid's innocent. The kid has done nothing wrong. Granted, yes, we're born into sin, but that's the whole point of Jesus Christ dying for our sins. Right. Was we made a new covenant. He took the fault for it. This is a new covenant, so the kid should go to heaven. I don't see how the kid would still be So is that what the person told you?
She couldn't answer it. She just kind of agreed and was like, yeah, the kid's also... So it's like there are people who are. That's the thing, and I told her about interpretation. And the thing about interpretation is the Bible itself is the Word of God, but also the Bible is also an interpretation of the Word of God
for people different spectrum. John, Jake. There's so many different
prophets
happening at the same time around the same period.
I explained the game of telephone to her because she didn't know what that was.
How is this person?
I explained. Old enough to be on the street at fucking midnight.
Oh, okay. So at least 21. So okay.
I explained the game of telephone and how things get lost in communication. Yeah. So not only do you have the interpretation of the Word of God within this Bible, you have different versions of the Bible: the King James version, the New King James version,
Ethiopian.
So
there's so many.
Add that, and then the different translations of the Bible. And then on top of that, you have every pastor and preacher who's going out there teaching their own interpretations of the Bible. So the Word of God is skewed so thin. So I ask you this: Have you read up on the schism, the Great Schism?
I've heard a little bit about it, but not.
So that's when basically Christianity split.
Oh, okay. So that's I remember hearing about that. Okay. And then because they didn't agree within the group of how certain things should be done, just like with the Old Testament, New Testament talk. Some people are Old Testament people, some people are New Testament. That's fascinating though. I remember I didn't read into that a lot though.
Oh yeah, I recommend checking that out. But yeah, it just kind of shows that even on the basic level, like people don't interpret the things the same way. Mm-hmm. I look at it like this: if your teaching is telling you to be a good person, and you're going into the afterlife because you're being a good person, be a good person. I don't care if you're Buddhist, Taoist,
Hinduism,
in the Islam or anything like that. Being a good person is a universal thing.
And you should want to be a good person because you legitimately want to, not out of and depending on religion, out of fear.
Yeah.
Because Christianity, you should be fearful of God, but at the same time, He's loving.
But the problem though in the world that we live in is that society has turned being a good person into a business. They have tried to monetize being a good business.
Like The Rock and all these other entertainers.
No, not even The Rock. Like if you go to mega churches like we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you donate X amount of dollars, you're a good person and there's a better chance you're going to go to heaven.
Which
we know that's not true.
But that contradicts the Bible.
They don't read the same Bible, or maybe they don't read the Bible at all. See, that's the interpretation, right?
You're right. That's not what the works. There's plenty of examples in the Bible where you doing the works doesn't get you in there. You can't be this monster. And then all right, well, I've done these terrible things. If I donate a lot of money, if I give to kids, if I put this public display of me being virtuous and great, it cleanses, and I repent, it cleans me up. That's not how it works. You don't repent and then continue. That's like when someone apologizes, you say sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry for that action I did. Cool. You don't then do it again. That's manipulation.
Yeah.
That goes in, now you're going into narcissism. Now you're going into a different facet. So It's manipulation. You're basically manipulating it. You're telling everybody they need to be virtuous. You're telling everybody you're a great virtuous person. But then in the dark, you're doing the worst, and they're doing worse than they're doing. Right. But yet you're pretending it. And that's the beef with the same thing with mega churches. I agree with mega churches. That's not. Why do we need that much money? Why do you need a private jet?
Right.
Why do you need a $20 million mansion?
Oh yeah.
Because God blessed you with that.
And your congregation is hungry. That makes that.
And
you're
bragging about people emptying their bank accounts and giving you all their money because God told them to.
Yeah.
And you accepted it. And you didn't say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You gave me all your money, your savings, and your checkings account. You have nothing because you want me."
Because you think you're gonna go to heaven because yeah.
That's wild. Now it's getting really cult-like. That's getting really weird. So now you're putting the pastor up or a minister or whatever. You're putting these people up on these pedestals. I get it. These people are supposed to be more holy, but shouldn't they be held to a higher standard?
Yeah, you would think so. Holding leaders to a higher standard
That's accountability
in the United States or anywhere is just tough. But I told her that she asked me if I believed in Jesus. I was like, I believe in universal energies.
Okay.
I believe that there's positive and negative force in the universe. You put in positivity, you're going to probably get back positivity. Negativity, get back negativity. I do believe that it is all controlled by a being, a higher being, a monotheistic being, I say. Okay. So I have to be specific in that because I do believe in a monotheistic being. But to tie that being to, say, Christianity or another, I can't do that because I feel like when you do that, then you're tied to certain rules that aren't really technically lived by, especially in the modern era. So I'm like, look, if being a good person means that I have to believe in your thing, but I can't believe in this thing, but these things are the exact same thing, then I can't do that because that's just
And that's depending on where your belief system is. That's the freedom of agency that God gives us. He's not forcing us to love Him.
Right.
He presents the information's here, this here. If you want to be in the world, look at the Amish community. I mean, we've seen the shows and everything like that. They give these kids an opportunity to go out in the world.
Yeah.
And live out there in the world because they don't want to just keep them under there. Here's your opportunity to go out in the world. If this is for you, then it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And I don't know what the statistics is behind it. I'm sure there's somebody that keeps up matrices or some type of analytics behind it, but how many of them actually come back to religion after they go out into the world?
Right. It's wild, but I mean, we're not here to like shit on religion.
No, absolutely.
Like,
but
like,
I applaud anybody who has a sense, because having a religion gives you a belief system, and there's more to believe in than just yourself.
Right.
I know that's a lot of these people, like Kanye and all these people, say that they're gods themselves, that they don't believe in nobody but themselves because they've been let down by certain religions or certain faiths. Okay. Regardless if you claim to be a Christian or not, in the Bible it even says suffering, it rains on the just and the unjust. Just because you're a Christian or whatever belief system, you're still going to suffer.
Right.
You're still going to go through just and unjust things. We live on the world. It's a very malevolent world. We all know the world is more lawless than ever before.
Right.
So knowing that you have to be a part of the world doesn't need to mean you have to be in the world, or of the world. You have to be in it, but you don't have to be of the world. It's making those decisions because that's what he gave us.
Right.
It was free choice. So if you don't want to subscribe to it, that's fine. You shouldn't get mad at somebody else for having a different belief.
Right.
That's weird. I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong. Islam, because you're wrong. You're wrong. Look, I'm new in this faith. I'm learning myself. I can't sit here and tell you wrong and definitively why. I'm still getting to understand the word. I'm still trying to understand the scriptures. I'm still trying to understand why I'm drawn towards it. It's just like the other day we were talking about. I was out in Texas.
Yeah.
And you go to certain places and you feel a different, and that's what it is about. You feel there's something different. Something's telling you, whether it's your consciousness, universe, God, whatever that voice is that's in you that tells you right from wrong, your moral compass, so to speak. It pulls you there, and that's what I felt. And that's the same thing with this. It's pulling me, and it feels, compared to everything else I've done, life coaching. I've done the extreme optimism, or naivety in my eyes. I've been experiencing that for 2 years. I was very nihilistic, depressed, angry, red-pilled. I went that field for a while. I went red-pilled for a little bit there.
Yeah, I remember those.
Red-pill Will. And so I've done it all. It's not like I haven't tried and explored things. Yeah. But I've tried different philosophies. And for me, this speaks the most, and Stoicism speaks the most to me. It resonates with my soul and connects with me.
Hell yeah. And
that's the same thing with you. We already are looked at differently because we don't go with the group think. We're not Democrats. I'm not anti-democrat. We're not anti-democratic, but we're not Republicans. But we're not MAGA. We're similar. We're libertarian. I consider myself libertarian more than anything.
I am anti-establishment, which is it libertarian as well?
You'd be considered libertarian.
I mean,
here it is. Long as nobody infringes upon your rights, and long as you're not infringing upon their rights, you're good.
Then again, what are your rights?
Well, we don't live in. People like to think we live in a democracy. We're not. We live in a republic.
What are basic human rights?
I would say you're free. I mean, if we're going to go based off of the constitutional rights or the Bill of Rights, I mean, you have the freedom of expression and everything.
What are your basic natural human rights? No paperwork.
No paperwork. I would say that we're free to exercise and do what we want, as long as you're not harming yourself or other people. That's to me. As long as you're not trying to take anything from me, I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm not trying to hurt you or harm you in any way. If we've got a disagreement, we can have a conversation, but we shouldn't have to come to blows. We're not living in warring tribes anymore. We're not living in Cro-Magnon days where Fred Flintstone. We got to go upside the head because we don't know how to communicate. Okay, I want that fire because I don't know how to do the fire. But instead of me asking how to make a fire, let me just take your fire.
You're just gonna walk up there and take his flame, just grab the fire up.
They don't listen. But think about it. And that sounds really remedial, but that's how people are.
Yeah.
People, instead of working on themselves and taking a look and saying, how did that person do it?
Oh, he got that. I want that.
They either cheated to get it, they got it because they were of a different skin tone or part of a certain group of people and they were handed it.
All right.
Instead of asking questions, okay, hey, how did you do that?
Right.
Let me emulate that. Let me learn something from you. What are you doing right? Because what I'm doing, obviously not working. But people don't think like that.
Yeah.
Critical thinking's been taken away.
Right.
Who wants to critically think? It's just better to be in a group, stick with the group, and reap the benefits of the group. But like we said, what happens when you're part of the group? Those echo chambers.
Right.
you're limiting your knowledge. You're not opening yourself up. You can't say that you're an open-minded person, all this, but then you get in these groups and then somebody comes with a different opinion and you want to attack that person.
Right.
So you can't say that you're actually you're not having good faith arguments.
Right.
That's the issue with it.
So back on like the politics though, it's like I was watching a video, I believe the other day. It was talking about how it was by Academy of Ideas. If you watch their
I've heard
channel.
of it.
Yeah, good channel. Recommend subscribing to them. But they were talking about how democracy leads to tyranny. Because why is it that 2 people hold less power than 3 people when it comes to an idea?
Yeah. Because then it goes based on who votes for what.
Yeah, because then it just goes to whoever has the most people. Like, well, politics. We know how politics works.
Of course, it's majority rules, and that's where it kind of crumbles a little bit because, okay, so you in this situation, 3 people, okay, and 2 people are green, and this other person's kind of oust.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're not going to take any points from that other person at all, or what happens if as the group grows? Influence. So these other groups are more influential and have more control. So therefore, even when you have a difference in opinion that could make things better,
right?
Well, more of us want this, so you could just be quiet. So then you're wrong if you walk away from said group. You're like, you know what? This isn't working. I've tried to voice my opinion. I've tried to work within the constraints that you've given me, the parameters you've given me.
I don't like it anymore.
I'm going to go over here and do my own thing. Okay, this group over here that you just walk away from, how is it right for them to attack this person and this other group now?
Right.
And that's what we see with these Democrats and these Republicans. That's what we see with them.
One of the points that was being made is like elected officials are elected, but what happens is all the people who are appointed, because the people who are appointed are the people who are holding a lot of the power, and not necessarily appointed. So you can look at appointing, you can also look at the funding. Some of the businesses that fund a lot of these politicians, power corrupts.
Absolutely.
And money is a big deal with it.
From tech to food to places like Walmart and Amazon. These people, if you follow the money, that's a big thing. Yeah. You see who they support, who they back.
Who they back, yeah.
And then you can see why they get away with what they get away with.
Right.
Why they can pay people a certain amount of wages. Why they can do certain things to people. What's discriminating. What's not discriminating.
Right.
That's how it goes back into the political scores.
Democracy is alive then. So it's like, you're voted for who you want to vote for, but the person who's getting the most funding is probably going to get...
It's an illusion of choice.
Of course.
We know with the Vanguard, the BlackRock, State Street, we all know the people, the Rothschilds, the real people who pull it. They give you the illusion you have a choice.
Right.
But look at the 2 choices we got. Look what we're walking into in November.
Oh God.
Trump, Biden. I don't care for either one of them. Is one a little bit better than the other? But still,
hold that thought.
Here we go. Okay, hold on. We got a demonstration, or we got a prop.
Let go. We out here.
So we got a prop.
We got a prop now.
Well,
yes.
And I love it because it's red, so you're naturally gonna assume it's a MAGA hat.
Yeah, people are gonna judge me just because the hat's red.
Exactly. As soon as they see the red, they're gonna think you're a MAGA, and then they read it actually, and they're like.
Really?
So then they're gonna label you as an anarchist or anarchist. You just want anarchy. You don't want to pick a side. So you're giving me 2 choices, and in these 2 choices, both of them are corrupt. Both of them say sketchy things or agree to things. And just recently, they just passed a bill for $1.2 trillion.
Yeah.
And in this bill, the Democrats are getting everything. We're not getting the wall fix because we don't care anymore. That if you're watching this from Venezuela or Cuba, just walk in. Do what you want.
Don't do that. We don't condone that.
We don't condone. At this point, who's gonna stop you? They're gonna give you money. They're gonna give you a job. They'll give you anything you need. You can stay in hotels, take people's Airbnbs. We're fine with that. Cool. You get everything. And then the Republicans one essentially was you're no longer allowed to have the pride flag up there with the flag of the United States. You're not allowed to do that anymore. That's what they want in this $1.2 trillion. So we didn't have a government shutdown. That's what they agreed upon. And they called it a victory. Republicans like, hey, we won. We did well.
I look at it like this.
It doesn't make sense to me. They're both in bed together. They're both making money.
Right.
One invests in energy. The other invests in Boeing or weapons and everything else. One invests in green. It's the same thing.
I hate getting villainized. It's like, look, when I say I don't want to see both, people are like, well, one's worse than the other. I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Which one are you leaning? Are you more conservative? Are you more liberal?
Are you saying Trump's worse because he says these things on the internet and he's obviously laundering money or whatever the fuck he has going on through his businesses. To which, crime is a crime, should be held accountable.
Absolutely, but at the same time,
let's talk about the other guy. Yeah, this other motherfucker who's also been holding people back for longer than you even know.
On top of the 1990 crime bill that incarcerated most of the black people, the same black people that vote for him anyway because they're Democratic.
Because if you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black.
And he even said those words.
like, come on, make it make sense.
So exactly. So you're in both these echo chambers. Both these people are sketchy, questionable.
And even with Trump, Trump, he's successful because he has a lot of the conservative fan base, but a lot of the conservative fan base that he has is a lot of the religious fan base. Like, he's wielding religion.
I mean, he just came out with his own Bible that he's selling for $60 that has the Bill of Rights and the Constitution in it. Okay, now it's getting weird.
Yeah, it gets now it's getting weird.
Because now you're selling you're peddling the Bible for $60 and you're including the Bill of Rights, Pledge of Allegiance, Bill of Rights, and the Constitution.
Church and state. What are we doing? Like, it's now become, you're monetizing religion again, and now it's just another reason why I just you know what, y'all can keep that.
And then today, with it being Easter, whenever this goes up, it's Easter. They've changed. They've taken Easter away. And what is Biden doing? It's now TransAmerican Day or something.
It's a what?
It's TransAmerican Day.
What the fuck is that? Hold on.
So I guess this has been talked about since 2010, but 2 years ago, this date today, the 31st, was officially made TransAmerican Day. So we're going to recognize trans people because they're a group of people that are oppressed and have no type of recognition, and we need to celebrate it. So 2 years ago, he made this a thing. But they didn't make it official until today. So you said you wanted to do it, but you intentionally picked today to start it. Even though this has been talked about for 2 years, you talked about it for 2 years, you intentionally got rid of Easter and turned it into Transgender Day.
He's not capping.
So all people are pissed off. So now they're also saying they're having things that they're still holding Easter kind of situations, which if you even do research on Easter, it's a pagan holiday. So even you Christians need to dive deeper into things like Christmas and Easter. Should be Resurrection Day. Easter is a political, capitalistic thing they came up with so they can make money off it. Same thing with Christmas.
It's a Hallmark holiday.
It is. It's because they make money off it. Okay, you want to be religious, but we're going to make money off of you still. Point is, do some research on that. But what does it say to you that he did it today of all days? He could have made it last Sunday. He could have made it next Sunday. But he intentionally made it today, and now you're not allowed. If you go and do eggs, anything around there with the eggs or whatever, because they're holding things, no religious things can be put on the eggs at all.
Really?
It's all part of the bill that he just came out with, the whole push that he just came out with.
This the whole...
We're pedestalizing, putting a group of people that you claim are oppressed, which I haven't heard, it seems like the last 5 to 7 years, this group of people, the LGBTQ+, I don't know the rest of the letters, have been pedestalized the most.
They keep adding letters.
They keep highlighting this group of people who's got so much push the last 5 to 7 years ahead of other people, ahead of Native Americans, ahead of Eskimos, ahead of Asians, Chinese.
DEI.
Pretty much.
DEI.
Exactly. So we're doing this group of people who's a small percentage of our community, and it's highlighting trans. How many people in this in the world are actually trans? It's a percentage of single digits. It ain't that many people. So why do we need to give them a whole day? And then pick, of all days, a big middle finger to Christianity today of all days to say, you know what, we're gonna make it happen.
Well, so my argument is we're really good at making up random fucking holidays. Every day's a national something, and I'm just like,
but it's not. It's still capitalism. It's money.
Yeah.
He's going. It's a voting year.
Uh-huh.
So I want to guarantee this group of people by doing this. That's all. It's a political ploy. You know that you're down in the polls. He is down in the polls. He's not doing too well because the country's in shambles.
Yeah.
The last 4 years. Granted, can we give some grace with COVID? And to a certain extent, I guess we can extend grace, but it's been too long now. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years, yeah.
You've had a whole 4 years to get it together.
Housing markets in shambles.
Interest rates are garbage. Shrinkflation. So people like myself who weigh all your food, I don't know whether you buy beef or I weigh everything I eat. So if this bag of chips is saying 4 ounces,
right?
Not to say I'm going to eat it, but I grab it and you're charging $2 more. And I go and weigh it, and it only weighs 3.6, that's a problem. Because you could say in your head, oh, it's not a big deal. Okay, you think it's just this bag that weighs 3.6?
Yeah, everything's getting smaller but more expensive. Or it's the same price. They're saying, oh, yeah, we didn't raise the price, but the package is smaller.
Exactly. People who know or aware, like, you're not, if you're not making any more money or have other streams of income coming in,
right?
You can't keep up with it. Inflation's gone up 2.8% since the 1930s. We get that. But at this point, people are drowning.
Right.
People are drowning. People don't believe in politics. If you ask the average American, most people don't trust the government at all. They know we're being monitored by the FBI, the CIA, any three-letter group is being. And then you got to look at the group itself. The FBI isn't being investigated because they're corrupt, and they've been shown it.
Oh yeah, we've known that.
We've all known that, and they work with Facebook, they work with Twitter,
and the FBI.
X. They sit there and they take a look at. So I don't know. There's another bill that just recently passed, guns. So to people who own weapons right now, if you are right-leaning and you own a firearm, whether you post it on social media or not, they can look you up on a system and register you and put you under the extremist thing now.
Just because you're right-leaning, that seems a bit extreme.
It is.
That seems a bit perturbed.
And they also came out with it's a new bill. I'm gonna get some information to you. We're turning into it's turning into communism because now this new program they came out with. If your family member says, you know what, Malcolm owns firearms, he doesn't seem to be too liberal, or he seems like he could be problematic.
Oh, they're doing that.
They can tell on you.
For what? Compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your weapons can be taken away from you. Whether they're disassembled or not, it don't matter. Whether you have it there or not, you could store them somewhere else. It doesn't matter. The fact is you have to register that weapon and they know you got it. If your political view or your views don't agree with theirs, now they're taking... You guys don't see they're violating your Second Amendment rights now.
I would understand that if that was like a mental health check. So,
and that's fine. I'm all for that. We need to be more stringent with that. But you got to understand, these people who do these shootings, what happened with the one last year where there was a transgender person that they still haven't really talked about. They kind of got swept under the rug. They shot up at the Christian church.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but they kind of swept under the rug and just said, oh, no, that person wasn't. Anyway, the point is, these people are attacking one group of people. And they're trying to take our weapons away. They know that if they wanted to create martial law and stuff, especially in places like Texas, where there's more guns than there are people.
Oh, man.
Alaska, where there's more guns than people.
They grow on trees over there.
Pretty much. I mean, that's how a lot of them barter is with weapons. So this is their way of trying to get people to police themselves. Because the FBI actually took I think the $650 million cut. Now, why would the FBI be fine with taking a $650 cut? Oh, because they came up with this new program that incentivizes you to snitch on other people. So if somebody doesn't like you, they can just get on social. They can get narc you out, and they do some research. Let's take a look at Malcolm. Okay. Oh, he says some things that we don't agree with. Oh, and he likes to think for himself. Oh, that's a problem.
That is a huge
problem.
problem.
If you're not gonna get with us, then you're against us.
You're not gonna follow us. Well,
if you're not, I saw your hat. We saw the hat. we saw it, and it's red. You could have made it rainbow.
You could have made it blue. Build back better.
Exactly. Yeah. You could have made it rainbow to show your allegiance. You could have done that at least. But look what we're going towards. They want to take our weapons away. They're constantly monitoring what we say and do on the internet. They want to come up with a political score, just like they have in China. So to control you even further, if you don't say what works, we're going to let go of the credit scores and everything like that. We want to go to one world currency.
No, it's because a lot of people are just so avoidant. Like, instead of addressing the issue, they want to do this blanket thing. And the thing is, I run into this issue at my job.
Well, we overcorrect.
Yeah.
They overcorrect things. Like, let's overcorrect something to make it better. What?
Why?
When we have no parameters set, when we have no boundaries, it's chaos because everything's gray. Well, tell me why that's wrong. Okay, we all know this is wrong. But is it really? They're just exercising their freedoms, right?
Right, and it's so weird, especially when it comes to race. It's like people who are like, I don't see color, and I'm like, I think that's the most disrespectful thing because we're in a society where we focus on being all inclusive and we're all the same, but we're not. Like, instead of saying that we're the same, we need to learn about what makes us different, culturally different. Like, for me, I wish in high school, instead of like history, because you learn history in middle school, elementary school, you should learn all that shit.
But the problem is, how much of that stuff actually applies to real life? That's the problem. You forget about it.
Well, my thing is, in high school, they should teach like cultural studies. Learn about Japan, learn about Korea.
You do. We drop bombs on them.
Jesus Christ.
Nagasaki and Hiroshima, we drop bombs on them.
I'm talking about more of the...
And Black History Month gets a week where you talk about the main... So those people are getting represented. We talked about the Native Americans.
It's not about representation.
No.
It's not about representation. It's not
they
about
cover them for a couple of days or a week. You take a test and then you forget about it.
Learn the cultural norms. Learn why people are the way... Like, people don't put in too much effort into learning about
it's
each
just
other.
checking a box. We covered it. You can't say we didn't cover it. We didn't have to say for how long, or how in depth, or the fact that we should not. Why don't we bring somebody in from that community to educate people on it? Why would we do that? That'd be using resources, and that would get people to start questioning things. Well, teacher, you know this American thing, this capitalism thing, I'm starting to kind of question it. And you didn't want that. The Rothschilds created the school system back in 1913
Right.
to create workers.
Right.
That's what school's designed to be, ladies and gentlemen. You are not supposed to think. You are a worker bee. That's what they want for you.
It's not education, it's indoctrination.
Precisely. We want you to be a worker bee. Why do you think you go and work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and then what are you left with? Making just enough money to get by, unless you're killing yourself with overtime.
Barely in today's world.
And then when you go, what do? You go home and unplug and watch Netflix and dial out with some nonsense. And even then, that nonsense.
If you can.
And even if you look at that nonsense, you're being indoctrinated on there through that and music and all. You're being indoctrinated. So at the same, it's always a psyop. There's all these different psyops coming at us at once.
Right.
So the whole point is for you to just push yourself, like our forefathers have done, 40 to 60 years, and then, which we know it's not going to be available, Social Security at the age of 73, 74, when you decide to punch out.
If you live that long.
If you live that long, because they're poisoning the air, they're poisoning the food, they're poisoning our mind. They're poisoning us constantly. I mean, it's an L. I mean, look what they're doing to with the chemtrails. These people don't have your best interest in mind. And when you see that and start understanding that everything that happens is for a reason. This is all pre-programming. This is all intentional. There's no accidents in the world. These people want things to happen because it creates civil discourse. Because imagine if people like ourselves started saying, you know, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what your political background is. I don't care what faith you have. We agree that things are messed up. There's more of us than there is of them.
So creating chaos amongst people is what they use to control people.
Manipulation, of course.
Here's the full circle moment.
Okay.
Back in the day, 1800s, could we say that's what religion was when they had the priests on the boats and going over to conquer these other lands?
Absolutely, all on behalf of religion. It was. They use religion to benefit why they're doing it. We're doing this because we want to share Christianity to them. Okay, but why are we slaying people? Not saying that Christians weren't prosecuted. Everyone's been prosecuted.
Because they don't want to convert.
Everyone's got a checkered past.
That's where we're at now. We're at that point where if you don't convert and you don't believe what we believe, then you're not going to be able to participate in society anymore.
And that's what the political scores come in. That's where the one world currency comes in. That is what they're driving towards. That's what they want. Because when you have trillions of dollars in your back, when you're that wealthy, what else is there left to do for games? Power. Right. What can I do to get this group of people to do today and get this other group today? It's power. That's all you're left with. You don't care about money. It's just power.
Right.
What the most degenerate thing can I make these people do for money?
Jeez.
For my pure entertainment.
Yeah, and that's, if you watch Squid Game, that's exactly what that was.
And people think the Roman Colosseums and stuff are gone. Yeah, we're not fighting. In a way, we still got gladiators with UFC and stuff. When they see that civil discourse is going on, when they see that people are starting, like ourselves, are asking questions saying both these political parties suck, and the powers that be, we the people, we control them, we pay them. If we were to decide that all of us join together and say we're going to walk up and kick these people out, we're going to agree how to run this government. Oh, no. The All-Star Game's coming. Whoa, hold on. The Super Bowl's here. Whoa, hold on. This.
Distractions.
Hey, let's use these entertainers. Hey, you throw a concert. Hey, you throw a concert.
It's
hey,
like,
you throw a concert.
Like when Oprah and The Rock got out there and was trying to say, hey, if you donate this money, like, bitch, you got more money than all the people you're asking.
On top of that, if you're as virtuous as you say you are, you own over 100 acres on this land, on this state, on this plot of land here.
Right.
You have a massive farm, massive homes. If you really wanted to be helpful, why don't you open your own? Open your farm to help them out, since all your property was mysteriously untouched.
No. We don't want to do that.
I would rather give you money. What? Has anybody seen the money? No. We're giving migrants more money and support than we have for Maui, more than we have with all the Texas fires going on, more than things that are going down in California. Why don't you? I don't understand how somebody could be so into the Democratic Party
out of touch
and still be like, yeah, I'm going to crusade for these people. What have they done for you? We still have a homeless problem. We still have veterans struggling. We've got these kids being diddy-daddly. We've got all these other problems. Sorry, Diddy. I wasn't trying to. Okay, that's a term. It's just his name's just.
We just realized what the P stands for in Diddy.
But you see what I'm saying? If we can see it at our level, why do we still think that we should vote for somebody, for either one of them, if nothing's getting better?
Because it would be the immediate outcome. So basically, say this person's, oh, well, I'll send you $10,000 if you do this sponsorship for me. Or things like, okay, I can use $10,000 because, I have bills and debt. And it's...
But you're essentially siding and selling your soul for some money. Right. Even if you don't agree with the political view, even if you don't agree with their viewpoints. What does that say to you about your character? Okay, so this person does this kind of stuff. Yeah, right. But they gave me money.
Right.
I don't agree with it, but it's guilty by association. People research and take a look at your funding, who's funding you, and we see it's a George Soros, or we see it's certain groups of people
right.
that are known for doing some sketchy things, well known for doing sketchy things, whether it's using immigrants and stuff to mine cobalt or whatever it is they're doing there to get our phones, because they got to make the phones affordable. We have the resources here.
Yeah, but how many people have to die to make it?
And it's horrific environments these women and kids are doing to get the chips, to get everything you need for this phone, and to make it affordable. Because if they did it here, they would have to be safer, and the phone would go from being $1,200 to $1,400 to $2,300 to $2,400. So
this is my last conspiracy thing. I feel like if Africa back then knew how powerful or knew how much their resources were going to be worth in the future, they would have been the most powerful continent in the world.
It's all intentional. Same thing with Haiti. They never want Haiti to get themselves together, because if they ever did, it'd be problematic.
Oh yeah, because they did.
Same thing with Middle East. They let somebody else come into power, and then when this person starts uniting the people and decides, you know what, America, we're not going to give you our resources. You're a problem.
Oh man,
you're extremist. Now you're getting clapped. Now we'll bring up the new person to put up in the pencil.
That's a whole different discussion. The whole.
America is a bully. There's a reason why people don't like us. We take people's resources, put our democracy, because we want to go for democracy. Yeah. That's why we're going. That's under the guise of democracy.
Proxy wars.
Yes, we're going over there, but they have opium, or they have different things. But then when you go and see, why is our military guarding this? Are we giving it back to the people? Oh no, we're going to make sure that nobody else gets control over it.
Yeah, it makes no sense when you're exporting all these things for X amount of dollars, and you go back to the country, and the country is still underdeveloped,
poor. It's 2024, and these people don't even have running water. And things like, remember when Mr. Beast went over there to Africa and did it?
And they hated on him.
And remember what happened afterwards. When he left, what happened? Other African dictators, militia groups took over it. And extorted the people for it. And now all that stuff's ran down back to what it originally was. He might as well not even went over there and did it. He did it because it looked good and money and right for taxes, and maybe he legitimately cared about it. But what was the point? These people still took over it, ran it into the ground. It's as if it never happened now. It's back to being a cesspool. It's back to them not having water. Right. And all this stuff keeps happening here and all over here, and nothing gets fixed. All intentional.
That's true.
And we keep giving money. We're already $34 trillion in debt. We keep giving money that doesn't exist. We all know that the dollar, it's made up. It's fictitious. This money's made, and it means nothing.
It's basically a Bitcoin.
Pretty much. We just assign that this is it. This is why most people are going into gold and silver. I would encourage that. Gold, silver, things that you're going to need, because when things collapse, that's what we're going to go back to. Gold, diamonds, silver.
And guns.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to go back to. Nah. But the problem is nothing ever gets fixed. Intentionally. Yeah. Intentionally, nothing gets fixed. They all make money. And we all suffer.
It's planned obsolescence, and I know that's a thing for technology. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, if you fix the problem, you can no longer make money from the problem.
No, you just scratch the surface. I'm going to give you the pills that help you combat this, but now you've got high blood pressure. Yeah. Now you got to get medicine to take care of that high blood pressure. Yeah. Well, that medication that takes care of the high blood pressure
gives you something else. Yeah.
Now you got diabetes. Like, what? So the things that are supposed to be helping me or making me continuously work, it's as if it was designed to fail and for me to spend as much money and keep me alive just long enough to make profit from me.
Right. But I don't know. It's just a lot of things. We've obviously been there's a lot of things that are going on.
The last year it's been transformative, not only for you but for myself. The awareness, and then when you try to get other people to wake up and start, just ask a simple question: why is this happening? What's the benefit in this person doing it? Why is this person being nice to me? When you get people, you just ask people to critically think. They've been so indoctrinated, they've been just so poisoned,
right?
That they're just locked in there because there's a cognitive dissonance.
They're locked in there.
The cognitive dissonance. Once the cognitive dissonance starts happening, they start, shaking and losing their mind. It's like, I gotta attack you. I gotta go at you. I gotta attack you as a person.
Politics, religions, just everybody who's so deep into their they don't like when people ask those questions because it breaks their brain. And what happens? There's nothing more dangerous than there's two things that can be very dangerous: breaking someone's world and having your own world broken. And when you break someone else's world,
absolutely.
They can go mad real quick.
Absolutely, because then they start questioning everything, and then you just like I had to come to the realization, you've been lied to all your life.
Yeah,
it's all been a lie. From education to everything is a blatant lie. You've been educated improperly. You've been lied to through music, through entertainment. Your parents have been lied to. They've lied to you. Everyone is lying to everybody. Through some of it is willful ignorance.
Right.
Willfully wanting to be ignorant because it feels good. Because if you're unaware of everything, then it's blissful. You have a good life. Yeah, some bad things happen, but it's not happening to me.
Right.
Even though you know that you could be actually contributing to the problem, but why would you want to do that? Because then it makes things explicit, and that means you would have to address it. That means you have to do some
accountability,
shadow work. Then you have to do shadow work. But who wants to do that?
Because that's tough. I'll tell you, it's tough.
No, I would rather be dependent on these drugs, sex, any other degenerate behavior.
Some sort of vice.
Yes, I would rather escape through alcohol. I would rather escape through my football. I would rather escape through sports. I would rather use that gym. I would rather use that as an escape to never address the issue.
But some things, not all those things. Some things, it's healthy to have an outlet.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you don't, what's going to happen is things are going to come out in ways that are unhealthy.
I agree.
Maybe so like a healthy outlet would be the gym.
It is. I'm not saying I love it. But what happens though, I find too with people, what happens, look at COVID. When that stuff's taken away from you, what do you have left? If you can't work out at home, if you don't have a gym or you don't have the alcohol you can't get to, what are you going to do? You just left with your thoughts and you're left by yourself. Or you're left with the person that you thought you loved.
The social isolation. Yeah.
And you're like, man, I can't stand this woman. I can't stand this man. And it's like, it's been 20 minutes. And you got to be on different parts of the house. You can get along in a different room.
And they've been married for about 5 years, so it's just I understand.
So, but still, it's just it exposes you. So if you don't have more than just those other pillars to lean on, if you don't have any type of internal work that you've done, you're gonna be at a loss. And these people are intentionally making things fall because they know chaos. Because you're gonna look up to Big Brother and they're like, hey, I got the help for you. I got the meds.
Check.
I got the fentanyl. I got anything you need. Any vice. I got OF for you. I got any vice you need. We got you. This will numb the pain. We'll never address it. It'll numb the pain. But you'll be better off because you can still work and make me money. And you'll still follow and listen to my rules. Even though we can tell the rules don't work and don't apply to everybody.
Right. It's just a wild world we live in. I know we've been talking for about an
hour. But it's been a year. It's been a while.
Been a year. This is a good first episode back. So
it is.
It's just we've learned a lot. We've grown a lot in our ideals, our ideals, and our philosophy. And it's just it's fascinating to see that not only the world but even we grow in our thought process.
We should, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah. Well, thing is, we change and. People are going to try to hold you accountable for things you said 3, 4, 5 years ago when we first got started.
But the whole idea of being a human is to constantly evolve. I mean, technology is evolving. You should constantly evolve, too.
No, but I want to cancel you for what you said yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that said, my name is Malcolm Eugene.
Will Robertson here.
Make sure you check out Outlier. Tire links are going to be down in the description below. This is Happy Mother Ducker. We are out here. Of course, this is Social Sabotage. We're on YouTube. Probably see some clips on TikTok under either my channel or his, one of the two. We're just out here trying to have healthy discourse.
Absolutely.
And convey some thought points, some talking points, some opinions that people just don't talk about.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It's 2024. We're back. We're going to try to be consistent. I know things are a little bit more complicated. He has a business to run. I'm also running a business. But, we'll try to make things a little bit better for you guys. So hopefully, guys, you enjoyed.
Yep.
We are outro. Yep.